again, and welcome back to Wingot Plays Oxygen Not Included. Last episode we got started on building this living area, and I've done a bit more. I've pumped some hydrogen into the deep freezer, and I've gotten it to a point where the barbecue is generally in a deep frozen state, just currently waiting on it to be bit more reliable. Let's change that to less than -25. There you go. So because it's sterile if it's less than 18, if I remember correctly. Deep freeze. Oh, there you go. Yeah, below -18. So if we pull down the temperature a bit more, we should hopefully be able to get that barbecue nice and solidly into a deep freeze. Other than that, the rest of the living area has been built up, and we've even changed it so atorvastatin here is currently the only duplicant that's allowed into this area. Atorvastatin is also not allowed out of this area here, and the other ranches, are all forbidden from going through this door here. Frusemide and somatotropin are both not allowed through here, and so atorvastatin is looking after the ranch by herself, along with taking care of some other things in here. There is a issue in here where the cold water, it keeps breaking the pipes, and there's currently no access to lead in here, but I have recently put this storage bin in here for exactly that purpose, so that we can bring up some resources into this area. It's refined, isn't it? Refined metal, lead. There we go. So someone will come along and bring up some lead into that storage bin there to give some access, and then atorvastatin will be able to fix that liquid pipe for us. I did just hear a printable come up, so let's have a quick look here. I think for the time being we're still just going to do care packages, and then I've been taking a little bit of a look around as to where do we put our industrial sauna. I think down here there's sort of too much going on. If I put it here, I feel like it's not quite enough space. There's plenty of oil reservoirs that we're going to want to access as well. Hot blooded oxygen vent there in the way. Up here, I was going to put it in here inside this abyssalite chunk orb, but then I saw that there's a cool slush geyser there, which seems like it would be ideal to actually get the polluted water from that, and so that's going to be in the way. And if we over here, the volcanoes there, and I think we probably want to use this space here for a petroleum boiler. But then I saw this space down here, this orb, which it's a little on the small side, but it's got a leak oil fissure here that we could uncap and probably just run and capture the oil, and nothing else really going on in the area. So I'm thinking that I'm going to use this space for our industrial sauna. And once we get an industrial sauna, we can then use it to build some bunker doors across the top, and also to build some rockets and get ourselves to space. But the first step is getting industry up and running at a scale better than this little design that we've got here. So I'm just going to dig out this biome here and make some space. I will see you when that is ready. Well, I've dug it all out, and thankfully having plenty of dupes who have mostly taken care of the various jobs they've got. If we take a quick look here, there's only 70 errands currently active. Well, let's take a look at the previous cycle. 279 errands in the whole cycle. So we've got plenty of dupes who are having periods of idleness. In fact, there's atorvastatin being idle, but she's allowed to because she's up here and has a designated lifestyle. Interesting that we've got. Did this pip? Yeah, I think this pip is going to die off. But atorvastatin standing here, she is able to get out, so she just doesn't have any jobs to do at the moment. All the critters are pretty well ranged, and there's sort of nothing else going on. If we give her some jobs to do a bit of digging, yeah, she'll jump out and take care of it. But I was originally sort of vacuuming this area out by building all of these various tiles, but then I've decided that instead of trying to enclose the whole space, I'm going to actually just pump out all of the gas, because there's only a few hundred grams of gas in here. It shouldn't take overly long to get rid of, and we want a whole lot of liquid in here. So interesting that there's a nosh bean there, because I did actually set up, here we go, that's why, because they haven't delivered this one. I did set these nosh sprouts up here, and they've got plenty of ethanol, they've got plenty of dirt. Is it just not cold enough? No, it's definitely cold enough. Alright, it's too cold. Too cold. They want neg 25 to 0. But there were 4 nosh beans in here, so I've told those to be planted, and we'll see what we can do about possibly domesticating them a bit. But if in the meantime, let's get to work with trying to get this running. Now, we are obviously going to need a power line, and the easiest option for getting some power down there is probably going to be a matter of building a power transformer up here that can then run a power cable down here, and it can go straight through. Perfect. And there we go. Come on, I want you to deconstruct that now. Thank you. Ah, that's right. These doors are going to get in the way. I might get rid of the doors for the time being. We can always replace them later if needed. But I think it's more important that we've got working power at the moment. Okay, and then the last thing is we're going to need a whole lot, because this is going to be an industrial sauna, it's all going to be filled with steam. So we're going to need a whole lot of water in here. We are also going to need a whole lot of heat. But we need a whole lot of water in here, and we're going to need to liquid lock this so that we can get these gas pumps to actually turn on and vacuum out the space. Which, there's a whole lot of water here. So I think we can solve both issues of getting a whole lot of water in there and creating a liquid lock at the same time. If we get someone to dig out all of this, boom, we've now got a liquid lock, and there's now a whole lot of liquid in here that we're then going to be able to turn into steam. And then the last problem is going to be, well, 1, vacuuming it out, and 2, dumping a whole lot of heat into here. And where are we going to get that heat from? We can't just dump an aqua tuner in here, because where are we going to steal the heat from? It's already actually potentially we could grab a whole lot of heat out of our oil biome here. I don't think we can grab the heat from the geothermal. I think it's a bit too far away. We would basically have to run a whole spike here, and it would have to breach 2 layers of abyssalite there. Interesting neutronium there. But is there some way we can take the heat? Yeah, the turbines aren't even generating heat. This turbine's spending a fair bit of time off. So I think we're just going to have to try to steal some of the heat out of the oil biome itself to try to heat this. Because effectively what we need is we need somewhere that we put an aqua tuner in. If we station thermo aqua tuner utility, thermo aqua tuner needs to be made out of steel, and it can go right in here. And it wants to dump a whole lot of heat into these various waters that are available here. What's going on there? Brine. So if this is all brine, it seems to be slowly trickling through. And I'm not sure if I can speed it up at all. Oh, that seemed like it might have worked. At least temporarily. And then there's just grams worth up here. Did we lose our liquid lock? Graphically, it looks like we did. Okay, now we are going to, I think, lose this piece of abyssalite. Because we need some way that we can run a pipe in and also some way to run a pipe out. And possibly also power to go along with it. The other thing is, this isn't going to be a permanent liquid lock either. The salt water, obviously, or the brine, will obviously turn into steam basically at the same temperature that all of this stuff does. And so what we're going to need to do is convert that into petroleum or crude oil as our liquid lock. Now we've got plenty of petroleum up top, so I might aim to do that earlier rather than later. Yeah, I might mop that up and replace it now. But the question is, we are going to need a 2-wide passage to get the pipes in and out. And frankly, we're also going to need some way of getting power in and out. And it needs to be a more substantial cable than just this little wire here. So let me take a look at doing that. In the meantime, though, we do also have some blueprints here. Let's take a look what we've got. Come on, print our first blueprint. We got a slow loading screen. We got a slow loading screen. Come on. Close that. Try again. There we go. Team Captain Sports Gloves. Great. Okay, so let me rework the entrance here a little bit and then I will be back with you. And there we go. A single drop of petroleum, keeping the two areas separate in regards to gas exchange. Now, if we connect them up to the power, they should start draining this carbon dioxide that's in here. And there's also some chlorine, some hydrogen. So in time, all of those gases should be removed. Perfect. Now let's leave them to clear out that space. Our tubes should keep running in and out and getting rid of all of this debris for us. There's apparently something there. Oh, it's the aqua tuner that's complaining. And I've made enough space here that we can now run a couple of pipes in and out. So we want insulated pipes. There we go. So the input pipe, this one here is going to be the input pipe. This one here can be the output pipe. And think we want this to run no matter what. Actually, I think safer option is to build in a automation control. So let's say here we want input, and if it is hotter than 50 degrees, let's say, then it will lead. What temperature does lead melt at again? It's 300 and something, isn't it? 327. So this is going to be a steam room, an industrial sauna. I don't think it's ever going to get to that sort of temperature, but I think the safer option is to just build it out of something that definitely is not going to melt. Okay, so at which point we've then got that pipe in place. Then we just need a overflow pipe. And then that can go to there. Okay, I'm pretty sure that should work. Then it's just going to be a matter of we need power to actually run down here as well. Conductive wires can run 2K. Heavy watt conductive wire can't go through blocks. Yep. So we may as well just use normal heavy watt wire for the time being. And what I can probably do is actually deconstruct these manual airlocks as well. Basically for the same reason we got rid of these, because we need to be able to bring power down, and it's better than breaking another line of abyss light. Now, if we there we go. If we can remove this line here, then we'll be able to run the heavy watt wire down the same channel, and then it can basically come down here. I think I had printables, I did. So let's take a quick look. A hatchling or some water. Let's grab some water. I noticed it up here, it's getting quite low. And what's drawing water from there? The mealwood. And the toilets. Why is that there? I swear I've dug that multiple times. So unless there's a shovel somewhere. I'm not currently seeing one. But that, and I think someone's cleaned up that dirt now anyways, so they shouldn't show, that shouldn't get entombed again. If it does, yeah, it's nothing to do with the temperature of the water. I'm not sure what's going on there, because I don't see a shovel at all. Smetotrope and what? Oh, what did you idiots do? Someone removed the... Ah, because I removed those doors. Right. Fine, that was my mistake. Mea culpa. In fact, we might get rid of that, because I might put it over here. There we go. And potentially... No, I can't raise this up because I need that space for these heavy watt wires. So we're going to need to get rid of all of that bit of tiles. And we got another blueprint. Let's see what we got this time. And hopefully this one won't be a loading screen. That's better. And bright diagonal drywall. Good. So, let's see. What did we get up here? We had solid Sasquatch. We had the algae diagonal. So now we've got the bright diagonal. Bright diagonal, H2O wedge, algae diagonal is what we've got so far. And I want you to mock all of this up. And why is that still broken there? This has been disabled. There's no automation grid. I must have accidentally pressed enter or something. How are we going down here? So that looks like it's been dug or deconstructed. So actually, let's get rid of that piece there. And instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a heavy watt joint plate right here. And then I might put some more petroleum down so that we've got sort of a double liquid lock there. We potentially could even vacuum out this space a bit. Yeah. I think I'll redesign this entrance sort of later on between episodes off camera. But for the time being, let's see what we can do about getting all of this up and running. Seems that it feels like they're being slow, but I think part of that is just because they've got quite a few jobs that I've given them here, and they're having to go run a fair distance to get the materials that are required to actually get it running. We've got lead in here now, so a Torvastatin should be able to grab that lead and fix this liquid pipe when she feels like it. For the time being, though, it's more important that she keeps the ranching up and running, which I think is what she was doing. But next time she's otherwise idle, she should be able to go utilize that. Looks like we're still managing to grab heat out of all this magma here. But we are, fairly quickly deleting it, it seems. A lot of vacuum sitting there at the moment. And these seem like they're closing. Yeah, closing a reasonable amount to try to keep the temperature up in that space. The water in here is so cold that it's turning to ice, which is pretty much the exact wrong situation that you want when you're trying to then heat it all up to steam. But we'll get there. Let's see. Why? Where did all this salt come from? This brine and salt water come from? Curious. Interestingly, if I put that there, will I be able to seal this area? Well, arguably I should be able to if I just remove those couple of power wires. Okay, good. Nope. I was about to disconnect. 120 milligrams, fine. I was about to disconnect the gas pumps, but we haven't yet built this line up here in order to then allow us to disconnect this one and then try to run the heavy watt wire down. Okay, looks like they're doing a good job. And with that salt water there, that petroleum there, if I get rid of these two pieces of heavy watt wire, well, we can't keep a seal because this has turned to ice, so we don't have That side of it's sealed. And what is this salt water? Turns to brine at neg 7.5. Interesting. And brine turns to ice at neg 22.5. So that salt water should never move out of there. Which would suggest there was some normal water in here? How did this water ever get cold enough to make ice? Because I don't think there was normal water there. I think there was only salt water and brine. That seems odd. Anyway. We will want to replace that bit with petroleum, but first we want to try to create a vacuum in here. Because with a vacuum, that should help to prevent the cold moving across. And if we replace the rest of this with insulated, hang on, ceramic insulator. Yeah, okay. I think we would need insulation in order to actually make it no temperature, but ceramic at least will be the closest we can do at the moment before we go to space. Good, we're down to milligrams worth of gases in here, so this should all clear out fairly soon. And once it clears out, so what do we do with this liquid oil fissure? Because we're going to want some steam turbines up here, but the highest spot that the steam turbine can go is there, or up here. If I place it there though, yeah, the leaky oil fissure's in the way, which would suggest that I probably want my steam turbine line here. And if we take a look, so 1, 2, 1, 2, we could fit 3 steam turbines without leaving any space to access the leaky oil fissure. So possibly what I could do is I could set something up to capture the leaky oil fissure output. What happens if I dig out this block here? Because I've got that water there, will it be over pressure immediately, and therefore it won't be able to output? Or is there small enough volume of water that it will start immediately outputting oil? If it does output oil, we can just enclose it and then deal with the output. Because I think it'd be nice if we can... Oh, yeah, it looks like it's running. And we're getting some crude oil there. Although the crude oil is going to sit on the bottom, isn't it? What do you produce? You produce 400 grams per second. Oh, it's actually managed to clear out the... Curious. Clear out all of the water that was here. Okay, good. So we're analysing that leaky oil fissure. Once it's finished being analysed, we can then look at enclosing it, and then we can worry about setting up some way of capturing it. But the Duplicants are making some progress on building our aquatuna here. Once they've built the aquatuna, we then are going to be trying to pull some heat out of our oil biome to dump into our industrial sauna here. Now, what is this pipe? This pipe is not currently doing anything, I don't think. So how about we get rid of, in fact, we'll tell them to get rid of all of this pipe. Because as it is, we were going to give them a job to rebuild all of it into insulated liquid pipe anyway. And then we can just run some insulated liquid pipe. Let's go all the way down to here. And then we want some radiant liquid pipe, which can be made out of lead, that's fine. And use that to try to pull a whole lot of heat out of here. And then we can run this insulated pipe all the way back up. Perfect. So once that's in place, we'll then be able to pull heat out of our oil biome here, which probably doesn't actually have all that much heat, because I noticed this is only a few grams worth, despite the temperatures. There's a whole lot of zombie spores in the crude oil. That's great. It might actually be worth, instead, trying to run our heat pipes all the way across to here and stealing heat out of that water there, out of that liquid, because that liquid will have a whole lot more specific heat, well, a whole lot more heat built up than this trace amounts of gas up here will. But that's what I'm going to work on. It looks like we are at that wrapping up point for this episode. I'm going to let them all do a bit of building out between episodes, and then we will try to finish cleaning. Well, this will finish cleaning itself out fairly soon. Oh, analysis complete. Next dormancy in 0 seconds. Interesting, because this one up here also said, there we go. So this one's going to go dormant very soon. But it looks like it's active. Oh. Really? 0.4 cycles every 0.7? So it just toggles on and off with dormancies then. Cool. So average output is 213 grams per second. We'll have to see how that goes for whether that's actually useful or not. But for the time being, we'll close it in, because if it, that little bit of hydrogen there, we should hopefully have this vacuumed out and have that sealed as a separate area when we do go to access it again. Snazzy suit, let's grab it. So that trace amount of hydrogen there should hopefully not be an issue, because the steam in the industrial sauna will be separate to this space up here. How is that going? 155 kilos. So we've got plenty of time here. Oh, does that say vacuum? Oh, the whole thing's vacuum. Perfect. So we've actually gotten rid of that gas before we've closed it in. That's going to be quite useful, and these are completely done. Now all we need is to bring the heat into here so that we can fill up all of this space with steam. But we also will want to try to make 2 separate spaces so that we can put some steam turbines up here. Anyway, that's all something we're going to have to do next episode. We'll let them build all of these pipes and everything in between episodes, and then I will catch you in the next one, I hope. But either way, stay happy and healthy, and I do hope to see you in the next one.